Good evening, everybody. It is, what is it, August 19th.
19th.
And we have a very special Tribe Redefine and Friends call tonight because we have a guest host. Jackie's going to be taking over. If you have any current Success Club points, please put them in the chat so I can call you out. If you have any wins to share, please put them in the chat so I can call you out. Or if you have any coach you would like to shout out, please put it in the chat so I can call you
Because
out.
you're not using this one anymore, can I do something?
Sure. Okay, but let's chat about it later. Awesome. Jackie is at 4. Love it. That won't minimize. Okay. I just wanted to say just a couple of quick things. Number one, remind everybody that the Morning Meltdown 100 second coach test group launches soon. So to keep that as an incentive when you're considering signing people, Teresa is at 6. Nice job. Shout out to Heather for being here. She's always here. I love it. Bursting all those bubbles. I love it. It's awesome. And the 3-day refresh is still 10% off. Beach bars are on sale for the summer. So some good things to get people going post Labor Day, back to school, considering all of that. And that can help with the action item for later. So keep that stuff in mind. And I mean, that's really it. I want to really leave it up to Jackie and give us a chance to ask her some questions if we need to. Yes, Leslie. Yes, for sure. I'm loving it. And I would like to also shout out Leanne, who I think I've been shouting her out for a couple of weeks, but she's really owning it on social media. Really cute. I don't know. She seems completely genuine and completely real, like Heather. It's just nice. It's like they're starting that way. I don't think I started. I feel like I was awkward to start, but it's completely genuine because they have good leaders that they are emulating. All right, I love it. Yay! Super Sunday is where it's at. I'm glad that she'll be there. Perfect. Let me make sure I'm seeing everything. Okay, perfect. Leslie, you look divine. Looking really, really sweet. All right, Jackie, I'm going to let you just take on over. I'm going to take notes so that I feel like there's questions because I don't want to interrupt you in the middle of things. So,
feel free to interrupt.
I'm muting.
No, don't mute. Okay. Hi, guys. So most of you know me, but just a little backstory. I was a challenger for 3 years. I don't think I ever missed a group. Even when I was pregnant, I just followed along when I stopped working out. And then I signed up to be a coach in December, but I only wanted to coach my friends for 1 month. And then after doing that for like 2 weeks, I realized how much fun it was and how much I liked it. And I just went all in. So once I went all in, that was it. There's no turning back. So I just have like a few tips, things that worked for me so that I felt like my business was moving forward. So I'll just start. My first tip is to show up, which seems like silly, like, duh, you need to show up. But I'll never forget, Pam invited me to a team call in the morning. She said they checked in the morning at 6 a.m. So I logged in and everyone started sharing all of this information. And I didn't even know what the words meant. They were saying Success Club and numbers. And I was just writing notes and thinking, I hope they don't ask me to speak because I have zero to share. And they didn't. They told me I could just watch. But just being there on that first day kind of was like, oh, okay, there's work to do. And when I showed up the next week, I maybe shared 1 or 2 things. And I still had no idea what they were talking about, but each week just got a little bit better. But if I hadn't showed up on that first week, I wouldn't have done the work that first week. So just showing up is half the battle. So that's my first tip. Don't wait till you know what you're doing to start doing things. So just from watching everyone else, I figured, oh, okay, you're supposed to post on social media. So I started posting on social media. And looking back now at my first few posts from December, I could cringe. I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking? But I started to build credibility. I started to invite people and I started posting. And again, I think back to when Pam first invited me. She invited me to a challenge group and I declined. I wasn't ready to join yet, but I started following her. and I saw her show up every single day. I didn't look back to see how long she had been coaching or what she had done the month before, but I did follow her from that day forward. And I think if she had invited me and then not posted for 2 weeks, I would have just lost interest. But I saw her showing up every day. So I try to keep that in my mind. Like if I'm inviting someone to come join this journey or join my team or join a challenge group, I need to show up every day because they need to see my face every day. And it might take them 3 months to sign up. It might take them a year to sign up. But if I stop posting and stop showing up, then I lose my credibility with them. So I think you should just jump in and start posting and start inviting, and you'll figure out the rest. And you'll make mistakes, and you'll send messages that you'll go back and read and think, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. But so what? Who cares? Okay, 3. Figure out what the non-negotiables are for you. You know, we all look at those Success Club trackers, and there are a lot of things on it. And if I look at that, some days I feel overwhelmed, and I think there is no way that I can physically get through every single thing on this checklist today. We all have those days. So I have my own list of my non-negotiables that I do no matter what. And you need to figure out like what that looks like for you. For me, I make sure I have a post. I make sure I update my stories. I make sure I follow up with whoever I've spoken to that week. And I always invite 5 people. So that's what works for me. I might not get to everything on the list that day, but I make sure when I go to bed that I did what was non-negotiable for me. And that might be different for you. Inviting. So my 4th tip is to share your feelings and be honest. So in the beginning, when I was inviting, I felt weird inviting to coaching because I just became a coach. So how do I invite someone to do something that I don't know anything about? I wasn't making any money because I just signed up. I didn't really know how coaching worked. So how do I invite someone to something that I'm not really sure of? So I could have done a lot of research and figured out like all how you make the money and everything and then invited someone that way. But that felt very like inauthentic to me. So my first few coaching invites were just, hey, I'm coaching and here's what this looks like for me. And I'm having fun and I'm helping my friends. And I've been helping some random people I met and I'm enjoying it and I'm liking it. And that's how I started. And that felt more real to me because I wasn't like reading a script or sharing something that if they followed up with a question I didn't know the answer to, like I was very upfront. And that kind of just like made me like, I guess, pop the bubble. Like I sent a few coach invites. If they led to something, great. If they didn't, that's okay. But I knew I was being authentic to myself and just sharing how I was feeling. So I know a lot of like new coaches always say like, well, I don't know how to invite people. I don't feel like, I'm an authority yet. And I think you don't need to be an authority. You just need to share why you're doing what you're doing. And if you come from an honest place, usually people meet you with an honest response back. My next tip is, let me scroll down, make sure I have it right. And this is like a silly tip, but it's something I wish I had done earlier. When I first started coaching, I invited all my family and friends, which is great, and that's what you should do. But then I ran out of people to invite. So very quickly, I realized that you need to meet new people and make new friends and be friendly, which is something that I'm not always great at. But once I started doing that, it was easier to share the opportunity with people. So I wish that I hadn't waited as long as I did to start expanding and talking to more people. Like I wish I didn't wait till I felt comfortable doing that. So I would say if I could start over again, I would have started doing that right from the beginning, because then I would have that many more people to talk to now. And since I've been doing that and adding more friends and connecting with more people, it's been easier to invite. And I think that's it for me. Pam's gonna follow up with lots of questions.
No, I love it. I feel like I'm Sandy on the National Wake Up Call. And now I'm like, this is how I feel. This is so cool. And you're the caller. You're the person. It's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go through each of your tips. I was
Okay.
taking notes because there are some things that I wanted to reiterate. So the first
Okay.
one just being to show up. I remember that first call when Jackie was on, and it was like 2 days after she signed up to coach, and she's like, should I be there? I'm like, yeah, you could just like be a fly on the wall. And sure enough, she showed up, and she hasn't missed since. And it is showing up in her showing up. So just let it be known, that she is it's, I will be honest, as a teacher, I feel like you are a good learner because you're a good teacher. So it makes sense that you had that innate, I don't know, ability to just sit down and dial into the information, but it still felt overwhelming and you still were freaked out, but you do it. And that's when it gets easier and easier. So I just really like that. No question there. Just some points.
And I did miss a team call. I missed one team call the week after I signed up. So I set a reminder in my phone, and now every day, every Monday at 8:45, it goes off and says, don't forget to log on.
Can we reiterate, Jackie, what is it today in your household?
It's my husband's birthday.
It's her husband's birthday. And I text her today. I'm like, why did you agree to do the team call on your husband's birthday? And he's like, and she said, because he's a team player and he supports this. So that's, you show up, you just do the thing. So that's awesome. All right. The second one was not to wait until you know what you're doing. I mean, if you think your social media was weird when you started, imagine 3.5 years ago what that was like. It was very strange. Every single thing that I posted had text on it, like all over the place. There's pictures of just like table corners with like a pen on it. Like it didn't make any sense. But you figure it out and you study things. And a couple weeks ago on our accountability call, I said something that I learned at Summit is that we really should focus on social media training and staying up to speed on the current trends and algorithms and all of that. And Jackie's doing that. First and foremost, she's working on Instagram ads and she's working on social media trainings and podcasts and stuff geared towards that because she wants to make sure that in 6 months from now, she doesn't look back and be like, oh, what the heck is going on? At least she can grow with the flow of social media. So really important. Have you learned anything jazzy about your social media ads or anything that's a quick share?
Not really, but the one thing, and I need to do more with it, is that they are saying that your stories are the places to put your ads right now because they're not inundated with ads like the feed is, and not a lot of people are using stories. So if you're going to put an ad out, we should really be using stories. And that's what I'm hearing over and over again in all the different trainings.
Okay, let's do it. Let's race to do that. All right, number 3. Figure out what your non-negotiables are for you. This very much reminds me of the team call when I talked about recovery mode, which I think was a couple of team calls ago. I was trying to peek back. I think it was one of the calls with Jess's team, but I could be very wrong.
I think so too.
It was okay. So if you go back to the team call, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's from August 5th, coaching and leadership in recovery. And that's something that Brittany Leggett talked about. And she said, you need to know your non-negotiables. You need to know your bare minimum. And that's what Jackie is saying, that every single day, this is what she's going to do. And anything else would be a bonus, icing on the cake, cherry on top, whatever you want to say. And Jackie pointed out what hers were. And the thing that stood out to me was that every single day she invites 5 people. And every single month she's at Success Club. So that is not a secret. It is not a surprise as to why. It is because of this focus. So please just understand that this isn't, okay, it would be like, I'm a high school English teacher. Every single day, I teach my classes because that's what my job is. If I decided to go in one day and be like, I'm not teaching today, kids, teach yourselves, I would not be doing my job. That's figuring out your non-negotiables. What is it that's required of you if this was your career, right? Don't look at it as a hobby. It's a job. Her job is to send 5 invites every day, and she does it because that's her non-negotiable. So decide what your job description is, and that's the thing you're going to do.
I also feel like it takes the stress off. I think sometimes we look at everything we could be doing. We could be creating freemiums and posting ads and making meal plans and doing all these things. And sometimes it's paralyzing because no one has the time in the day to do it all. So when I set that, like, I will do a post and update my stories and invite 5 people. And then if that's all I do, at least I go to bed like, okay, I did my bare minimum today, and it takes off the stress. And maybe I do more the next day, and maybe I don't. Maybe I'm away at a cabin without Wi-Fi, and you survive, but
Yeah.
it just takes the stress off because I don't like feeling overwhelmed and stressed.
100%. I love it. It's perfect. Okay. Number 4 was to share your feelings and be honest. I liked that what you seemed to talk about to me was just saying what it feels like to be a coach and what it feels like to be a challenger, whatever it is you're inviting to, just focusing on what it feels like. And I kind of used, I think of something Leslie said to me once that helps me when people are having objections about the shake versus just Beachbody on Demand. And I remember her saying to me, she goes, I always say to people, my experience is with a shake and Beachbody on Demand. And that's my experience. That's what I know. So that's what I advocate that people, start with. And I used that with somebody the other day. I had Leslie in my head. That's what this feels like to me. It's just being honest. I'm not telling you to go use collagen, but I've never used it. I am telling you that coaching is awesome because I've been doing it for 24 hours and it just feels really awesome. And my story felt very much like when you were saying, Jackie, like you started for a month to just coach with your friends, and 2 weeks in, it was like, this just feels right. When I started, I was in Jess's challenge group, and Jess was pregnant with Luke, very high risk pregnancy, and ended up in the hospital. And she reached out to me just for Challenger and asked me if I could do the posting. There was no scheduled posts on Facebook at this time, and it was just a Facebook group. We didn't have Challenge Checker app. And I was like, sure. So I posted check-ins. I didn't even know what I was doing. We weren't even doing 21 Day Fix. It was Jess was a personal trainer at the time, and like she gave us like, do these workouts, like do squats for 10 minutes, like basically that. And I was like, okay, everyone, did you your schedule workout today? And I was like sharing podcasts because it felt like that's what I should do. And it just was like, this is not intimidating, actually. The helping people, the running of the groups is really quite simple. And it was like 2 weeks in, same thing. And it just felt fun. And that's what I led with. And it's really, it makes sense. But just what you're feeling, whatever conversations you're having with people, just be honest with them, and you can't be wrong. No scripts. I like that. And to meet new people and expand your network, what would you say are some of your tricks for doing that? Or how have you been doing that? Or how have you gone outside your comfort zone in that area?
Well, I started with just looking for people from high school because I noticed that obviously all my Facebook friends, because of when I joined Facebook, are from high school, but a lot of that didn't transfer to Instagram. So just looking at my friends, my good friends, and finding all my friends from high school who, I like to chat with and like to see, but we don't really connect on social media. So that was step one. And that actually grows it a lot. If you start thinking about all the people you knew from high school and college, although Pam has most of my college, so I can't do that. Then once I figured out that I met everyone I could that way, then I started looking for their friends, acquaintances that I had met at college parties or baptisms, because that still felt safe to me. These are people I had met at some point, so I don't feel weird starting a conversation with them. And then I just started searching for their friends. And I don't know what other people do, but I find that if I look at their friends list and add friends, sometimes there's people aren't active and I never see them again. But if I look at their posts of their cute babies, all their friends start commenting, and I find I connect with people that way because those are people active on Instagram. They a lot of times are like me, they have kids, and I add that way. So
we have a question. Erica asks,
oh.
We have a caller. Erica, what is your question? I'm just kidding. So what does a typical invite or beginning of a chat look like? If you want to answer, I'll throw some things in there too, and anyone else that's comfortable can throw in their thoughts too.
I'll answer first. If it's someone that I kind of know, like a friend of a friend, I will just reach out and say hi and follow up with something that oh, I haven't seen you since the baptism, or, how have you been doing? I know you moved. Katie told me. I usually just chat with them for a while and just connect. And that's really it. And then they start watching my stories. And then if they watch my stories or like my posts, then I'll follow up with, hey, I know you've seen a bunch of my stories. Would you like info? Or I'd like to tell you about my new challenge group. If it's a random person, I'll just start a conversation. Usually I connect with other moms. So I will ask them about their leopard outfit that they bought their kids, because I truly do want to know where they got it from. Or if they're also, potty training their kid, I will ask them questions. So usually I just try to chat with them about whatever I'm interested in.
Not a Atlanta.
Sorry, Kaden's telling me something. She has headphones on, so she's speaking.
Oh.
I love it. It's pretty much the same. Sometimes I'll get bold if like I notice somebody for the first invite. If it's a stranger, I'm bolder, and if they've connected with a lot of my fitness stuff or watched all through my fitness story, I might just invite straight out the gate, but also throw in a like, and if you're not interested, that's cool too. How old are your kids? That kind of stuff. Sending people recipes, podcasts. If they've liked something, I try to make a connection in that respect too. If I'm not the one liking on their stuff first and reaching out, but they seem to like a recipe that I had posted a while back, I might follow up again and be like, hey, did you ever try those banana muffins I posted? If you did and liked them, you got to try these chickpea blondies, and like send them another recipe. So there's different ways to connect with people in that respect. Anybody else have some ideas that they want to share? You don't have to. I think that's a lot. Let's see. I've been chatting to many women coming to work with leopard and thinking, Jackie, I love that. That's so funny. So many things remind me of all of us. It's grand. It's lovely. Love it. So cool. All right. I mean, that's all my questions. Does anyone else have anything to ask Jackie? I agree, and I scheduled coffee dates to discuss. That's awesome. Getting people in person or on the phone. Leslie's been great about getting people on the phone. Teresa's, making it a mission to meet people in person. It's just so cool to do that kind of stuff. And I find too, when I make those connections with people, when I start communicating with them, there are some people who don't respond back, and don't take offense to that. They're just not ready. I don't know if anyone is in Team Fit Dynasty's page and saw what Stephanie it was posted today, and she said she's been reaching out to someone since December, and the person finally responded today. Not just was like, I'm in today and purchased, but actually responded today. It takes a while. And I, once in a while, get a little goofy in my responses to people and be like, if you want me to just, like, if I'm a real pain in the ass, just tell me. And then that's when they're like, no, you're not a pain in the ass. I've been busy. I'm like, yeah. I don't know what busy is, whatever. But you just make it silly, however your silly is, or whatever your disarming chatting would be in person. I like Danielle Natoni's tip to, if you're nervous about how to type to somebody, record yourself what you would say to them in person. And if you don't want to leave them that voice memo, just play it back and type to them what your voice would have sounded like when you were talking to them, which is nice. It makes it a little more genuine. Yeah, Jackie Zooms with a lot of people. Tell us about that, Jackie.
Anytime I have a new challenger, like brand new, or a potential, I always offer people that we could Zoom call and go through their goals. But it's really nice, especially when you have a customer lead and it's someone you don't know, to like meet them virtually and ask them questions and take notes. I think they also take you more seriously if you're offering to like actually chat. I feel like sometimes when I'm like, people are asking for info and I send an email or even respond, it feels like salesy, but like you have to give them the info, but like it does feel a little weird sometimes. So I like to offer, like, I'd love to call you or Zoom call with you. That way it can be more of a conversation as opposed to me like regurgitating all this info to you.
And something that everybody could do if they would be uncomfortable with that, or just if scheduling is an issue, get yourself a YouTube private video that you have set up where you're just kind of going through the generic stuff, so that if you can't link up, at least they can see you in person talking as if you're talking directly to them. It's a really good thing to have, just kind of private link that you can send to them. Only people with the link can find it, and just something that the third-party tools are great, but like Jackie's saying, when you want to make that connection and they know you're a human being, it's a really good thing. Cool. And voice memos are great for doing that too in the middle of all of those messages that we send people. All right, cool beans. Thank you, Jackie. Anything you wanted to say as a final note?
I guess my final note would just be, if you really want to do this, like you make the decision and you want to do it, you have to just do it. You have to just go all in and just treat it like a job and just make it non-negotiable. I mean, there was a team call and I was at my friend's house and I obviously wanted to be with my friends and I couldn't stay on the team call, but you know what? I said I'm going on my team call for 15 minutes. Like just showing up and treating it like non-negotiable. And it feels good. It feels good to say like, I'm doing this and I'm going all in.
I agree. I love it. I love it. How has Beachbody changed your life? I'm just kidding. I'll let you think on that one until you're on the National Wake Up Call. We'll wait. We'll hold ourselves in suspense.
You're going to write my speech for that.
You're crazy. Okay, cool beans. Well, we've got a nice little action item. It's very simple. I'm going to add to it because of things that Jackie said I really like. In honor of Jackie's non-negotiable, I want everyone to send 5 new invites tonight, even if you've already sent your invites. 5, coaching or challenge group. But then I would also like for everybody to invite to or plan some kind of free group. We should always have some sort of free opportunity, especially at this time of year. I have a back to school group. I know Jackie's got one. I think a lot of us do. This is a great time. Facebook people love free groups. So it's a really great way to water the seeds that are out there, get people involved in some way. So send 5 actual money invites like challenge group or coaching, and then also create or invite to a free group. And trust me, just send out the invite. Say, hey, look at a calendar. Next week sounds good. Thursday sounds good. I'm running a free group. And the reason I wanted you to remember the specials, a back to school group, or maybe you're promoting beach bars. Not just beach bars, but like healthy snacks. And beach bars can be one of it, and they're on sale and there's something. And Daily Sunshine is a part of it. Or maybe you want to invite everybody to a sugar detox and share with them 5 days of cutting out sugar and tips for coffee without sugar, tips for baking without sugar, tips for whatever. And then at the end, you promo the 3-day refresh. You can think of groups that naturally transition into the products and services that we have, or it could just be because this is something that's interesting to you. Couponing, or Kaden could run a slime group for all I know, like whatever, crafts with kids, anything and everything that you have expertise in, maybe Espanol, I don't know, whatever kind of, for travel, I don't know, whatever you're good at, it doesn't matter. Just getting people involved, getting people comfortable with you, and if it leads to a product or a bigger group, grand, but if it doesn't, 5-day or 3-day like fitness challenges are really fun, where you can get people the Beachbody on Demand free trial. I've done ones for your core. I've done ones for booty, where I just highlight a workout that focuses on that. So maybe day 1 we do buns from Pio. Day 2 we do lower fix from 21 Day Fix. Day 3, whatever. And you just get your booties in shape, or whatever you want it to be. Anything at all. There's nothing you could do wrong. Once you've got your free group idea, leave it in the chat, or if it's already there and you're inviting to it, just tell us what it is so we can see that. I am going to thank everybody for being on, and I'm going to stop the recording.